Welcome back to A Potent Dose of Three. My name is Kathy.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Jasmine. And we're here to bring you your weekly dose.
That dose. And that dose for part 2 of the non-traditional healthcare position that is not bedside. Are you guys ready to listen?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Let's go.
That was so animated. But let's go.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because like when I was in clinic, I shadow a nurse that she was so awesome. I want to be like her because she did like and she traveled to like Cabo or something to be a nurse there for like because for the doctors that were like doing it, she said it was like back in the 70s or something that she would travel there, and then she will go with the doctor and they will do like BBLs and like all that, and then she'll be working in the OR. And then she went to working nurse as in the prison. And I was like, how was it? Like, I asked her, and she's like, girl, I feel more safe over there than out here.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Which it makes sense because she was like, here in the hospital, you got security, but not like security.
Yeah. That's the same thing with my classmate said. And she was saying that she loves what she's doing right now, working in the prison. But she also notices that a lot of like the guards and police officers, which is very common, like they neglect the prisoners because they feel like, oh, you're in here for a reason, so you deserve whatever's happening to you right now. So she'll report something saying like the patient maybe had like a swollen foot, like a really, really swollen foot, like something's going on. That person needs to go to the hospital, and they'll like kind of ignore her. And she's like, no, he needs to go get medical help right now. So they don't treat them very well.
But I'm glad she actually likes her
job.
There
to advocate, yeah.
And is there to advocate for them.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I also found, and I'm sure nurses can do this too, but you can be a health IT physician. And so basically you're helping like these businesses or kind of develop and test the technology, and along with having like the physician and their medical expertise, so it helps create a better system.
I think that's similar, but I think it's called like research nursing, where you are working in laboratory setting. You're working with like scientists to like discover like new medication, diseases, and a bunch of other stuff. Is that similar?
No, I think it's different because I think with the health IT, you're dealing more like it's more like systems and technology.
Oh, technology.
Yeah, and then like the physician is there to like provide the medical knowledge as they develop and test whatever it is that they're
like more equipment wise. Okay.
Then that's probably informatics nursing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. I was gonna say informatics nursing. Yeah,
because that's when they have like optimizing the patient experience through advances in technology.
Yeah. And analyze the data and everything.
I think those two probably go hand
in hand. It does
hand.
require extra certification though to start working as an informatics nursing. But
yeah, and I did
like computer based.
And I did hear, because it is computer based, like it's good to have a very strong background in computers and knowing how to work with technology and computers, because that's what you're going to be doing a lot.
You could also be like a healthcare administrator. So instead of working like in the hospital setting, you're actually working within administration. Mm-hmm.
Another fun one that I came across is being like a cruise ship nurse. I've been on many cruises, and I know it's a lot of fun, but you can actually work there as a nurse, and you can work there as an NP as well. If you're there as an RN, you're working as an RN, but as an NP, you're like more like you're delegating because you're able to like give rows and stuff. But I'm like, that sounds a lot of fun. So on the cruise ships, you may work for 4 months, and then you're offered 2, and your meals are paid for, your housing is paid for, and then you get to enjoy the ship after you're done working.
That sounds like Linda's dream job.
It sure does. I was like, I think I could do this, or like let's try out one cruise to see.
Another one that I found, which is very interesting because I didn't know, they have a legal nurse consultant, which is they work with the insurance companies, law offices, and businesses, which helps them with like medical lawsuits and malpractice cases and going through like medical records.
Yep, and they bring all that information they find and bring it to court just in case something's going on. Mm-hmm. They get all the information needed.
You could also work as a healthcare attorney, but the practitioners would have to get a law degree to become practicing attorneys.
Oh,
so they have, because they would need that medical knowledge as well as the knowledge in law.
Okay. And then there's pre-op and PACU, is like post-anesthesia care unit nursing. And it sounds very chill, where you basically just take care of the patients, pre-operation and post-operation. And you're basically like doing assessments, starting IVs, taking vitals, just making sure the patient is stable.
And then another one, which is like nurse educator. They do need like an MSN, like a master's science in nursing, and a doctor of nursing practice to teach. But that's something like, let's say, I don't know, you got tired of being in the bedside. That's an alternative that you could do for retirement. That's because I heard that's very common with nurses. So to put it out there.
And for a nurse educator, you don't have to, like, if you're trying to be like a professor doing like lectures and everything, yes, you need like a master's. But say if you just want to do like a school setting educator or, a clinical instructor, you can do that. You can be a clinical instructor and not have your master's. So that's something also good to like look into.
As a physician, you can teach in medical schools and stuff like that. But I was reading, and you can do other stuff too. Like I was reading, in this professor or MD started like a website to help medical students prepare for their board examination. So you can do different things with your knowledge.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's a good career to like retire in a way. Is like being an educator, because I think I was having a conversation with you, Kathy. I was like, these professors, not to say they're not doing anything, but a lot of the professors already have their stuff pre-recorded. They already have like their curriculum already set and made. So I'm like, as a professor, all you got to do is assign the assignments and pretend you're grading it.
Change the year, change the day, and let's
sometimes
go.
I know this has happened to you, where like a professor will give like a syllabus and it's like dated back 3 years ago.
2021, like,
I was
girl,
like, bro, you at least could have tried to change, try to update the syllabus. So I feel like that's very much so like a good retirement to fall onto, if anything.
I was reading, and you could also you'd be like a physician entrepreneur. So you can like, obviously as a physician, you have a heavy background in medical knowledge. And so you can develop like, equipment. Thank you. Medical technology or medical equipment, to help support patients.
Yeah, nurses have been doing that throughout the years as well. Like most of like the most used equipment for patients, because we work so closely with patients, is equipment made by a nurse.
Yeah, because like what works in a way and what doesn't work. And then this is common. I feel like I'm surprised we didn't say it in the beginning of the episode, but just like urgent cares, working in like clinics and urgent care. I'm like, I can see myself doing that as well, because like I said, it's like 9 to 5 usually. You have, you don't have to work overnights and everything.
Yeah, then that's also something, because I am like, I don't know if it's the adrenaline, but I like the emergency room a lot. Like I guess one of the most, I guess, fun rotation that I had was through the ER. So that's something that I'm looking, because like you guys know, I have a kid, so I have to think about hours as well. So doing Monday through Friday will be perfect, and 9 to 5 will be perfect. But we'll see. But yeah, I was looking at that too. There's also like college nurses. I don't know if people knew, but there's also that too. Because I know in my college they have like a health center, and they have nurses in there as well.
So that goes like under like the school nursing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So they're there.
What about concierge like physicians? Is that like when they go to your house? Like when you have the doctors go to your house?
I don't know if that could be like a term as well. But yeah, I know like nurses, they go to your homes and stuff.
Home health nurse.
Home health nurse. Because we were doing that like as a home health aide. And I used to like go to their homes and provide. And that was actually chill, because you get paid like salary. I remember I had this one patient where all she needed help was to put on TED hose, because she had like edema on her lower extremity. So I was there just to put on compression socks. It literally only takes 5 minutes to put on compression socks, but I was getting paid as if I was working with her for 3 hours. So I would literally just keep her company, talk to her and stuff, because, I had time. So like, I feel like home health nurses, home health aides is like, it's very chill.
Yes, it is. What? Oh.
Fertility clinics. You know, you're able to help families that are having troubles with conceiving and or having like babies. I can list this.
So, sorry for the concierge physician. It's like where they have their own personal clinic with a way smaller patient to doctor ratio. So you get a little bit more of that one-on-one time and a little bit more, I think, benefits for your health because you have more access to your provider.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was doing with the company I was working with. It was like a small company, and I would just go to the patient's home. So yeah, and I feel like that's a good job to start, because if you think about it, as a doctor, even as an NP, you don't have to have your own physical building. You can literally do it. Oh, telehealth is another one. You can literally do like telehealth and do like home visits as well. Yes. So I was like, y'all can come up with you as an NP, as a doctor. You can literally start your own practice and work for yourself. Not everybody wants to work for themselves, but I feel like that's something that's good to start with, because you don't have to have a physical building. Literally mobile.
And telehealth was very, very like popular during COVID.
Became popular because of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's allergic clinics, like all type of like a specialty clinic. So it was like allergy clinics, dialysis clinics, children's specialty clinics, genetic clinics, OBGYN clinics, orthopedic clinics, all type of clinics. You could work as an RN there.
RN or NP.
Or
a doctor. Or a doctor.
I'm like, I think any of these three.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also flight nursing as well, where which sounds really cool. It's like your job would be to be transporting like critical care patients from like one facility or an emergency setting to like the hospital, and your job would just to stabilize the patient until they reach the hospital, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's something that I found out from TikTok, the flight nursing.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was looking into it because I was like, that looks like fun.
It's probably a lot more hardcore though.
Yes, because they were saying you have to be like a paramedic, I think.
You could do that. Because I feel like because you want to work ED, that gives you like a taste of the ED in a way. Yeah. Because ED is like the patients are coming from the street right into your floor. And like with the flight nurse, you'll be... The person will be unstable. You can go stable.
So for like, you know, because I work as an EMT, we also have nurses that we work with on the job as well. Sometimes we have to assist the nurses in like critical care transport, but that's also an option too, where it's not flight, but it's like on the ground.
Oh, nursing. Okay. Yeah, because I know that if you wanted to be like a flight nurse, you need to have like a paramedic. You have to be like either a paramedic or EMT.
I think it would probably be paramedic.
And then like that will like help you stand out in order for you to get to that job.
So what's the difference between a paramedic and an EMT? Honestly, growing up, I think I want to
scope of practice. They are more advanced life, ALS, and we're BLS. EMTs are BLS.
So is that the only difference?
The scope of practice. Yeah.
Okay.
So like they can do more.
Okay.
Yeah, they can just do a lot more.
So the training is probably more extensive.
Yeah, they have. I think I had like 300 hours of training, and I think they have like 1,000 hours of training.
Whoa, it's a big difference.
Yeah, the scope of practice is actually quite large in terms of what we can and can't do. Okay. In terms of like even like administration of medication. Go ahead.
I have a question. So do you have paramedics in the ambulance with you when you're like driving it?
Yeah, you do. So like I haven't worked with a medic yet, but like the last call that I worked, we merged with the other ambulance, and we assisted the other ambulance, and it was an EMT and a medic, and I was EMT with another EMT.
See, that's good, because that's why I wanted to know, because I honestly used to think it was the same thing. I thought it was just like a shorter way of saying it. I honestly thought EMTs and paramedics was the same exact
Absolutely
thing.
not. No,
yeah, that's why I was like, can you explain it more? Because I was like, in my head, I'm like, they both the same.
I thought Drew was a paramedic. I'm like, oh, she could save lives.
No, like in terms of like, there's a lot more medication that they can administer than I can. They're advanced ALS. I'm BLS, so it's way different. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought even like the certification ALS and BLS, I thought it still wasn't like a complete difference. It was just a little bit included more things, because even we can do BLS or ALS. So I thought for that sense, I thought it was like more intuitive, because I'm like, I thought it was the same thing, but I forgot which one it includes, like everything.
Even just a fun fact, this is totally out of this, but I found out that for like if you want to work in pediatrics, there is PALS.
Oh yeah,
and
PALS.
I didn't know that.
I knew that because my classmates like you, they want to work with kids, and it was like, yeah, I'm doing the PALS, and it's another one, a certification. You could do them all three together: the PALS, BLS, ALS, and I don't know.
Because my CI is so
you don't
awesome.
have to do it.
I like my CI, and then I was like asking her for like advice, and and she's like, okay, so this is what she gave me a list of stuff that I got like that I should be doing. And then she said pause. I'm like, what the heck is pause?
Yeah.
So I Googled it and I was like, what? So
It's
learning new
expensive.
things.
Yeah. It's my friend. She's from SoCal. So she went back home to do it. Which is pretty cool. You can do them all three together. It was like the PALS, the adult.
A-list.
Yes. So she did that as a package deal. And I think she paid like $300 and something instead of you wasting money on like each certification.
One? Yeah, because it's expensive and
it
it takes you a lot of time. Yeah.
FYI, it's kind of hard to answer your question about EMT and medic, because it also like the scope of practice also depends on the county that you're in.
Yeah, that's with every, like even when healthcare in general, I'm like, maybe we could just look more into it. Because I used to think it was the same thing.
But you could also be an advanced EMT.
You see,
and that's somewhere, and that's in the middle of them.
There's levels to it, guys.
Gosh.
Oh, another cool thing that I came across is working as an NP, nurse practitioner. You can do cannabis NP. What that entails is like educating patients about the use of medicinal marijuana, like the side effects, how to take it, so like stuff like that, more like education and like prescribing.
That's great because I feel like it's needed.
Yeah,
like education on cannabis and all that, because people, they just think they know, but they don't know. If that makes sense.
There's more to it than
because it's like, it has a lot. That's what I think. So I feel like that's cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so I'm like, you could do that as well. There's so much. I'm looking at my little list that I did. I want to say I covered everything, because we mentioned you can literally work in an MD office of like a medical doctor that has their like own practice. Usually they hire like medical assistants, but there's some offices that do need like nurses or even nurse practitioners to work in their office. So
yeah,
you can do that.
The other one that I found was hospice nurse.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is just to help patients just be more comfortable on like their last days. Yeah. So
I saw one that you could do like acupuncture jobs, but I didn't really look into it. It just said like physicians, and then under that was like acupuncture jobs, but I didn't hit it, so I don't know what that entails. So don't ask me.
But that's an option. So listeners, as you can see, there's so much within healthcare, working as a doctor, working as a nurse, and whatever level of nursing you're in. Like there's so many other opportunities that's outside of bedside. And I feel like school should let students know, so you can kind of have that decision yourself and just know like bedside nursing is not the only career that you have to do. And don't feel bad. If you don't want to do bedside nursing, it's your life. Okay. It's your mental state. Do not feel bad. I remember I was on Instagram. What?
Sorry, I'm dumb. You could also do, I forget what it's called, but isn't it like you could do like a medical examiner or like as a physician? Like where you examine the
body.
Yeah, I forgot what that.
Shoot, medical examiner.
Yeah. But you could do that. You could do that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I feel like just everything that was mentioned, if it's caught your eye, just do some more research and like figure out the steps that you need to take to get there, because you may, like Kathy, there's a few position or career she mentioned that said, you need like an extra certification for it. But don't feel bad. I remember watching I think it was like an Instagram. It was a doctor. She was saying that her colleagues were basically giving her a hard time because she would work part-time as a doctor. People were like, you're not a real doctor because you're only working part-time. She was like, my mental state is worth way more than this job.
In my opinion,
you are replaceable. So don't let a job, don't feel that you have to overextend yourself for a job that will replace you in a second. Your life is not replaceable. Your family is not replaceable, because working as a doctor, working any career, you usually have like a family, you have yourself to like think about, and all of that is not replaceable. So put yourself first.
In my opinion, I feel like the other people who were making her feel a type of way in some way were jealous that she was doing that.
She made that,
they
yeah.
couldn't have that peace that she had. And I completely agree with her. Like, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want it to identify me as a person, and I don't want it to take over who I am as a person. I still want to be happy, cheerful. I don't want to let anything that happens as through my career change who I am and make me hate my job. I don't want to ever hate my job.
No.
I want to I want to be a doctor, and I want to love it. And if that means like working part-time or having a different schedule than what is expected, that should be okay. You know?
I agree. I definitely agree. That's why it's so important to just look at your own life and not
don't compare
it could
yourself.
be hard, but
Yeah.
don't compare yourself. Even with families, don't let your family, don't let your colleagues like put their beliefs onto you, because at the end of the day, that's a job that you have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad Linda mentioned about the thing about being replaceable, because sometimes we give so much to these jobs.
They don't care about you.
Then they don't. They really don't care about you. They say they do.
They don't.
But they don't.
Honestly, they don't. You're putting money into their pockets. Yes, you're making good money yourself, but you're putting more money into their pockets in a way. And
so just think
don't
about
care.
yourself and your mental health and your family, and just be happy with the job that you're doing or that you choose to do.
yeah.
I agree. Well, now you heard it. There are different options, like kind of like the way our path to school wasn't so like linear. Like working in healthcare doesn't have to look a certain way. It can look different. It can be what we want it to be.
And that's one thing I love about social media. Has a lot to do with it.
Yes, because
and
that's
this
where I learned about it.
generation, it's like they're opening more doors and letting people know, like, this is not the only thing you can do. There's so much more out in the world.
So like you said, I was on TikTok and you're like, oh my God, you're always on TikTok.
On TikTok, you learn a lot.
But I was on TikTok and I was scrolling, and this nurse was talking about how she worked in bedside nursing, and I forgot for how long she said she did it, but she said that she became depressed and she started to hate her job, and
I can see that.
And I don't remember the exact situation that caused it, but she ended up doing IT, and now she works as a nurse in IT, doing some like health informatics or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that until I saw that TikTok video.
Yeah.
You know what I
Social media
mean?
has its pros and its cons.
Yeah.
I was, and I feel like there's a lot of, maybe that's the reason why there's a shortage of nursing, but there's a lot of nowadays, like a lot of people putting their own mental state first. And when they see themselves reaching that burnout, there's a lot of like nurses or healthcare providers that's making that transitions to something that more accommodates their lifestyle and their lives.
I think there's a shortage of nursing because I feel like the way healthcare system has been set up for years, there's that mentality where like, well, what are they going to do? They have to be a nurse. Like, it's like this everywhere, but it doesn't have to be. I think healthcare doesn't have to affect your mental health the way it does. It doesn't have to have burnout. Like, there should be, I think there needs to be more balance.
It should be.
And I think that's why it was a shortage, because after COVID, nurses were able to see like, oh shit, like in this bad situation, they're not going to have our back. Like the nurses that were stuck in New York.
Yes, and bring up the whole COVID thing. I don't know where y'all remember when the COVID first hit and the whole pandemic happened, we had to be quarantined, blah, 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 blah. They were praising nurses because there was nurses still going in, not knowing what was going on with the whole COVID thing, still going in, risking their lives to save patients. Once that vaccine came out, they're like, oh, if you don't get vaccinated with the COVID shot, you're going to be fired. Someone's like, what happened to nurses being heroes and everything, and all of a sudden it was so easy for you to just fire them because they don't want to get vaccinated? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So that's why shortages are happening. They're like, okay, you're not appreciating me. Bye.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Shortages are happening too, to add on to what you're saying, is Kathy, is because more people are aware of like what they deserve and everything, what they're deserving of. Because back then it's just like you're just putting up with it. Nowadays people are like, no, I deserve more.
That's exactly it. I saw video. I saw video.
Where?
It probably was a TikTok. Shut up. But it was about like the older generation complaining about this generation is lazy and they just quit their jobs and blah 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 and they can't handle their jobs. And it was like, no,
I think I did hear
it's
that
not
too.
that we're lazy. It's not that we just quit our jobs to quit our jobs. It's because we know what we deserve, and if the job is not going to respect us or treat us as individuals, we don't need to work there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's
true.
it. That's true. That's why
keep it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so true. So I'm happy for their future. I feel like I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited that we are learning about these resources, sharing them, and hopefully the listeners can at least have an open
Mind.
Thank you, an open mind to like their possibilities.
Yeah, because I know I'm not the only one. Not everyone wants to work in the hospital,
Right.
and that's A-OK. So I want to close it out. Are we closing it out? Thank you so much for listening to A Potent Dose of 3. We appreciate you guys tuning in weekly.
We appreciate the support, and let us know if you want to hear about any other topics.
Please send us topic ideas, because we're starting to struggle a little bit with coming up with topics. So send us, because we don't want to just be talking about what we think you guys want to listen to.
Yeah, we don't want it to be just about us. We want it to be for everybody else who is, juggling their healthcare career or even their student life.
Yeah, and like I said before, you don't have to be in nursing. You can be in any type of career. You can be a freaking radiology tech. You can be a social worker. You can be an occupational therapist. You could be anything. You don't even have to work in healthcare. You can just have been a patient.
I agree, because healthcare literally touches everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's touched your mom. It's touched your
Someone
grandma.
you
It's
know.
touched your grandpa. It's touched somebody.
Someone. So please tune in, send us questions, be a guest on the show. You don't have to work in healthcare to be a guest. We just love to hear from people and just get a better perspective of what's going on in the world.
And we want to open more doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can email us at apotentdoseof3@gmail.com.
Follow us on IG at A Potent Dose of 3.
And follow me at Linda the FNP. Peace out.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening.
See you next week.